So I asked you guys, the viewers, what Sonic opinion has you like this? And 946 comments later, we have a lot to go through. I was actually planning on making this video a lot sooner, but man, so many of you commented that it's just kind of crazy to go through. It's pretty daunting. I want to explore some of the craziest, some of the hottest, some of the spiciest takes that some of you guys have in this comment section, and give my opinions on them. And no, I will not be giving my own hot takes for the most part, as I've just done a video on Matt Has No Cuts' channel talking about my own hot take and along with other Sonic YouTubers. Fair warning though, there's gonna be some takes that are gonna be so crazy that it's just gonna make you mad. They're probably gonna make you mad, make you start typing a paragraph. Yeah, I see you kind of commenters in the comments. You guys just can't help but type that paragraph. Give me a whole book essay about why Sonic is actually not blue. But I'm actually pretty excited to dive into this. But before we do that, hey, hold up a minute. 75% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So why don't you consider subscribing if you've been enjoying the content? You may be like, hey, this might be too early in the video. But 43,000 of you guys keep coming back to these videos, so I'm talking to you. Why don't you hit the subscribe button? Thanks, guys. Let's start light. Let's not start crazy just yet. We're gonna start pretty light. So we have JD Entertainment saying the Werehog stages are awesome. Now, I don't think this take is a terrible take, but a lot of people hate the Werehog in the Sonic community. And I kind of understand why this take was kind of controversial, I guess, or will get you a lot of hate, because people hate Werehog. And honestly, the main aspect about it is just how long those stages are. I think they are just way too long, and sometimes the enemy design I think is kind of dookie, and it just prolongs the level. And don't even get me started on Empire City Night. That level is kind of atrocious. The tight beam walking is, look, it's completely the opposite of what you want to play Sonic for. I don't want to play Sonic to walk on tight beams, let's be honest here. I get it, doing combat and doing combos in a slow brawler type of game is different enough, but walking on tight beams for like an entire level? Alright man, I'm out. But I don't actually hate the Werehog though, I actually kind of enjoy it. Actually, you know what? This take is kind of fire. I think I kind of agree with this take, but it might be hot. Heroic Gangster says 2D sections of boost levels are good, because especially in Unleashed, I like when the players flex their knowledge of the boost levels without any indicator of what's in front of them. You know what? Let this man or person or whoever cook. Let them cook. This is a fire take to me. I remember I made a video years ago, back in 2017, about why I think 2D is actually good for Sonic games, because I feel like for modern Sonic, it's supposed to be the collaboration between 3D Sonic and 2D Sonic, which creates modern Sonic. That's how I've always viewed modern Sonic games, is that's what they're supposed to be, a mixture of 2D and 3D, the modern era. It's combining both. We had an era with all 2D and we had an era with all 3D, so this is the era where they're both together. And also, if I'm being honest, I feel like the best platforming sections of boost games have come from 2D. I feel like that's where a lot more of the reaction time stuff is present, whereas in 3D, especially in Unleashed, it feels like you're kind of just boosting forward and just moving left and right. You're not really doing a whole bunch of intricate stuff like that. Sometimes you'll slide here and there, but and drift here and there, but like the obstacles don't feel on par as the obstacles in 2D in my own personal opinion. Tell me right now, in Eggman Land, the obstacles in 3D are harder than the ones in 2D. I definitely feel like the 2D ones are a lot harder. And let's use Sonic Frontiers as an example. You know how they took out the 2D sections from the 3D sections and split them up as levels and stuff in cyberspace? Chemical Plant without 2D from Generations is freaking boneless. That person was cooking with that take. I wholeheartedly agree with that. This next one is pretty odd. Someone said, I actually think Shadow the Hedgehog is one of the best controlling 3D Sonic games, said FWC Blade. I think that one is weird, as the game isn't as slippery as Sonic Heroes, I would say, but the game feels sluggish, so I kind of don't agree with this one, and I do think that's an odd take. Shadow the Hedgehog isn't a terrible controlling game, but it just feels sluggish. It's a really slow homing attack. Shadow's jump animation is so stretchy and long, and it feels like he takes so long to get off the ground. And he does feel slippery, just not to the degree of Sonic Heroes, but it feels like it's really hard to get him to accelerate the way you want. Feels like he slips in place more than anything. I guess I can kind of see where they're coming from, but I don't think Shadow the Hedgehog is like necessarily an amazing controlling game or a bad controlling game. It's just kind of okay, either slightly above average or slightly below average, either one. This is a good one I've seen before. Kurai Hikari said, Sonic Colors on the DS as a whole is better than Sonic Colors on the Wii as a whole. And honestly, I feel like this take, I can't really be mad at it. I personally enjoy Sonic Colors on the Wii a bit more because it's just more of the Sonic that I guess I enjoy. But Sonic Colors on the DS, being mostly rush gameplay centric, is pretty good, and the way they use the wisps is something that I would say is done better. But the problem with the game is I feel like it's too short. It's way too short. You can beat Sonic Colors on the DS in like less than an hour. Not even trying to like speedrun it. Like I think I've literally done that. I think I beat the game in like 55 minutes once. It's good, but it just doesn't have enough content like the Wii does to make me feel completely satisfied when I beat the game, I guess. And I've had both Sonic Colors Wii and DS growing up as well. I believe I had DS first before I got the Wii version. So I think my first experience was actually the DS version. But overall, I can understand why people say that take, because it's more like Sonic Rush compared to Colors being downgraded, I guess, from Unleashed. So I can see how that take is kind of, triggering to some, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. I can see why people would prefer the DS version. I just more so would want the DS version to be longer, but the content is really good. And also, they have an actual supersonic final boss in that game too, which is something I would say is a lot better, I guess. But at the same time, the Colors Wii boss does go pretty hard with the music, so I can't even lie. Man, let me find something that is not Werehog or 06 related. You guys love to throw that one out there. The more you say it, the less I feel like it becomes triggering. Here we go. I found something somewhat original. It's still 06 related, but I haven't seen this one in a while. The kiss in 06 is not that bad. Sonic's not a real animal, and is closer to a human than a hedgehog. I don't hear people calling out Bugs Bunny, BoJack Horseman, or Brian Griffin, and they've done worse. I'm gonna be real with you guys. No. Just no. There's no universe where I think that was ever okay. Yeah, you could say Bugs Bunny or BoJack Horseman or Brian Griffin, but at least 3 of those are supposed to be satire or cartoon, especially Brian Griffin and BoJack Horseman and Bugs Bunny. They're all satire or cartoons or slapstick. Sonic was, this is for real. Like this story was super serious. Like there was not supposed to be anything funny about this. Like this was serious. Elise just straight up did that, and Sonic is, I would say, more a hedgehog than I'd say human. Sonic has, yes, 2 feet, 2 arms, and a tummy, but that's it. The rest of it is just still very hedgehog-like, or just very creature alien-like. I wouldn't say Sonic really resembles a human. It's kind of why people wearing Sonic costumes in real life look very, very awkward. It doesn't look like Sonic. Ugh, that take gave me the shivers. Let's move on to something else. And then we have, I guess you say this person's name is Invincible. They say stories in Sonic games aren't as good as people say they are. And honestly, I think this take is somewhat right. I feel like a lot of Sonic stories are very charming, but they're not necessarily meant to be some grand masterpiece of writing. I think SA2, of course, is probably the best story in the Sonic series. People like to say it has plot holes, but I don't think they're plot holes. They're more just moments of suspension of disbelief rather than plot holes of things that I guess don't really make sense, but they're not necessarily holes in the story. People kind of use the term plot holes incorrectly and loose, but I think SA2 is a prime example of a good story within the Sonic franchise. On the more complex side, at least. And if you want to talk about on the more simpler side and, visual storytelling side, Sonic 3 is a masterpiece in visual storytelling. We have Sonic Everlasting saying the old movie design was better. SA2 is mid. SA2 is mid. You're mid. And I guess this is also a hot take. Frontiers is mid. Well, I guess. And we have a lot of hot takes from someone named Oni. Oh boy, I have a few. Not a lot of people will like. Shadow the Hedgehog has one of the best openings of any Sonic game. Oh, okay, that's not bad so far. Sonic Advance was not that good. Yeah, they're kind of right. Okay, not so bad, not so bad. Sonic Free Rider Zero Gravity isn't that bad. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's also not that bad of a hot take. Sonic Colors is a really bad game. Oh god. Sonic CD is one of the best Sonic games. Oh god. Classic Sonic games aren't that good besides CD. Oh no. Mania is overrated. Sonic Frontiers OST average. Oh my goodness, those takes were they were kind of wild, I'm not gonna lie. But the next take we have is from Who Was in Paris. Oh, I know Who Was in Paris.
A few minutes later.
But anyways, Roger Craig Smith is better than Jason Griffith, and Forces wasn't even that bad. Well, I think that opinion is completely okay to have. It's pretty subjective, obviously. I mean, all of this is subjective, but preferring the voice actor you prefer is up to you. And last but not least, Sonic Heroes is garbage. Homie, that's not a hot take, that's just the truth. I gave you guys 12 out of 900 hot takes posted under this community poll, and granted, there were a lot of repeat ones, but if you guys want to see a part 2, make sure you like this video and make sure you share it so more people can see it, and if enough people enjoy this, I'll make a part 2 to this, maybe even a part 3 or 4 because there's 900 freaking comments, and covering 12 in one video even took up 10 minutes. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and like always, I'll see you in the next one.
Well, whatever happens, happens.